What's up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Cap Nation Live. March Madness Game Day Edition. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have each and every single one of you tuning in with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I missed you all yesterday. What is going on? Good morning, a big blanket. Good morning to absolutely everybody. See, we got a small little crowd brewing, and that's good. That's good. We're getting there. We're getting there. Jeff says, Merry Christmas yesterday. You know, Christmas was stolen from us last year, and we got it today. We got it back this year, so Merry March Madness to everybody, and we're going to make it a good one, that is for sure. Matt says, have a feeling today's show is going to be a great one. I can't promise you anything, but we're definitely going to try. We're definitely going to try. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Get us a little background tunes rolling. Little background tunes rolling. Hopefully you guys are all ready to rock and ready to roll this morning. The madness has begun. Michael, what's going on, my brother? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Interesting college basketball games yesterday. St. Mary's playing from behind. Ultimately losing by a bucket. And then Holy Toledo. You know, I got to say, I didn't watch that Toledo game, but I took a look at the first half score, and I was like, oh, yeah, Toledo blowout. Never checked it again. Got a text message. What the fuck's going on with Toledo? Take a look. I have no clue what's going on with Toledo. Take a look. It's already over. They lost by 10 or something like that. Like, hello. Hello. If I had a parrot, it would be saying hello. That is for sure after yesterday. Not sure what happened with Holy Toledo in the NIT, but let's just say it wasn't pretty. We're going to take a look at all the games today, regardless if I'm on them or not on them. I may not be able to tell you who we're taking or whatnot, because it'll be part of the March Madness package, your premium plays, or my personal plays. However, I will help out where I can help out, and I will lean where I'm allowed to lean, and we'll bend the rules where I'm allowed to bend the rules, or where I'm not allowed to bend the rules. But we're definitely going to have a lot of fun. A lot of fun in the next couple days. I gotta tell you, I am super pumped. Daniel says, Toledo effed my 8-team parlay, but we're up. We're here to fight another day. You know, that's always a good thing. But anytime you drop an 8-teamer because of one, especially when they're up massively at the half, that is always tough, my friend, and I do feel your pain because I've been there a time or two. I did just get word that if you are on the March Madness package, today's March Madness tournament plays are up. I literally, looking at the text message, Welcome, William, to the March Madness package. I see you just signed up as well. Rio C, is it still 3 days? Buy 3 days, get 3 days free. Not for premium plays. That ended yesterday at midnight, but it's for the soccer package today. Just so everybody knows, buy 3 days, get 3 days free. And that is with our soccer package. The soccer is buy 3 days, get 3 days free. As well as today is the day, soccer game of the year. Penny, it's definitely time to sweep the board. It's definitely time to sweep the board. So for everybody that doesn't know, the big soccer game of the year, it's kind of a sneaky day to have it if you ask me. Everybody in the world is focusing on March Madness. I mean, like, everybody. Everybody. Matt, yeah, you got until 1:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Everybody focusing on March Madness and the tournament. The book's got some lines extremely tight where I believe they need to be tight. Matt says, well, it answered the question, baby. But while everybody's going to be looking and watching March Madness, we're going to catch them sleeping first thing this afternoon or morning, whatever time it is in your time zone. But we're going to catch them. Jesus says you hammered the soccer today. Very nice. Jesus, yeah, March Madness plays are up. Remember, and maybe I need to put this on the board. That might actually be a good idea. Put it up on this board. Turn your phone sideways, scroll down. Remember, if you have multiple packages, which if you have the March Madness package, you do. Or if you have premium plays in the soccer game of the year, you do. Remember, turn your phone sideways. Scroll down. Look for your username. Look for your username. It's right underneath or right next to your, scroll down, look for your username. It's down just a little bit. And then right next to your username, or right under it, depending on which kind of phone or tablet you have, you'll see a box that has 4 windows inside it. Click on that box. Click on that box. And then scroll down. I think we need to put that up there on that board, because I'm probably going to have to repeat myself 50 times today. Shapendi, welcome back on board for my personal plays. Glad to have you back on board. My personal plays are not out yet. They will be out, however, after the live show. Don't worry, there's nothing early. There's nothing early that you're going to be missing with my personal plays today. And definitely looking to have a monster of a day today, from premium plays to my personal plays to the soccer. Jesus says my personal plays are on table tennis, and let me tell you, they are going to be smoking good. Michelle, welcome. Thank you for jumping on board the soccer game of the year. Mario, thanks for jumping on board the premium plays. Everybody else, Michael, Alonzo, Omar, Costa, I know you're new to our website. Mr. O'Brien, thanks for jumping on board the big soccer game of the year. I got to tell you, a lot of you guys are starting to bet soccer. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Excuse me. Very nice. Very nice, Penny. Glad you're on vacation. Glad you're going to be enjoying your trip. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Just making sure everybody's account is good to go. Ernie, do I offer any parlays? They're only designed, our system is designed to bet straight up. However, if you want to throw in a parlay, with them, by all means, if you do a parlay, make sure that it's not going to affect anything that you do. Costa, if you have a question about the soccer game of the year or any games that we have, please feel free to email in. Yeah, Justice, what's going on, my brother? Glad to see you tuning in. Soccer, the biggest bet overall in the entire world. Hold on one second. All right. And Costa, if you have a question, you could just reply to your email receipt or email us in cd@cappersdirect.com. Somebody will help you out. Malik, if you're scared that you're going to jinx it, you're not going to jinx it. Just thinking like that, maybe you jinx it just by thinking about that. But no, I promise you, Malik, you can't affect what happens on that field, all right? Unless you're just like a bad omen or something, which if you are, you would have never won on any of our plays. So quietly buy it. Don't say that you're on it. That way nobody thinks that you're jinxing it. See, and then nobody can blame you. And then jump right in and start hammering it. No free plays. We're just getting rolling. And let me tell you, you guys don't have enough thumbs up to get anywhere near a free play from me just yet. Might have to hold those hostage today. I once seen you guys get 200. Or hell, at least 100. There you go, Mo. I love it. Eric, I just seen your March Madness purchase. Your premium plays are rocking and ready to go. All you got to do is just log in and check them. Mr. Johnson. Yeah, you can't go, Todd, you can't go wrong with that last name, brother. Last of a dying breed. Excellent. Be safe. Be safe if you guys get in trouble. One of my old shipmates from the Navy, he's Metro PD over there, as well as my former banker. He's also Metro, so I got a few strings if you guys get in some big trouble. Jeff says, "Where's the monster?" Which one? The 5-year-old or the one that I drink? Keith Davis has let the March Madness begin. Good morning. Good morning to you as well. Shane, so nobody told you they're sealing the lot? No, nobody told our office that they were sealing the lot. And I don't know what time it dried, but it was dry when I got here yesterday in the afternoon. And I think they were just running late because when I got here, supposedly they said it was supposed to be done in the in the middle of the night and dry. But originally, I knew they were doing it, but I didn't know they were doing it yesterday. I was told that it was actually happening next week. And I said, oh, cool. No problem. The first round is over and all of that stuff. And hopefully it happens on a non-March Madness kind of day. Because I got word that it was happening on the 23rd. So come to, and they were going to do half the parking lot on one day and half the parking lot on another day. That way, people that actually work for a living can walk to their fucking office. You can park over here and walk this way. Or park over here on the building and walk over this way. But no, they couldn't do that. Nope, 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 nope. I don't know where the miscommunication was, but it didn't really matter because I went home, had a good day, got some things done, did a little preparation from the home office, made some mental notes of things, got to, meditate and pray to the March Madness gods for a great March Madness. Fast Freddy wants to know which UCLA team will show up. The one in blue, sir. The one in blue will show up. That's a fact. Eduardo says Gonzaga not going undefeated. I think Gonzaga is going to have one of the easier walks, but they're definitely going to have their hurdles, especially after the first round, possibly after the second round, more than likely. If the Spartans get past UCLA today, it's I think their chances of going far are great. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Illinois definitely turned it on at the right time, but here's what we need to know. And we're going to go over futures. We're going to go over brackets. We're going to go over the games today. But here's one thing. The difference between being hot last week and being hot this week is a whole world of difference. AKA, if you were hot last week, you may not be shooting lights out this week. Justice, did I sacrifice a stuffed pony for the madness? No, I'd break a little girl's heart. But we did take her to Build-A-Bear the other day and let her build a bear. Jesse T says, good morning, nation. Stoked for these games coming up. It's going to be fun. It's definitely going to be fun today, folks. And it doesn't matter which way we look at it. The fun is going to be here all month long. These teams just got to get inside the bubble, and then they should be good. Peter, thank you. Glad to have you back on board. Eddie Sports Money, Kyle March Madness, do you still get the NHL for the year? Absolutely. You get the NHL for the rest of the season. You absolutely do. Peter, my personal plays are not out yet, but they will be after the live show. I'll have them locked, loaded, ready to rock and roll. I do see that you just jumped on board them as well. Lewis, thanks for jumping on board the game of the year as well. But for everybody that's on my personal plays, you will get them after the live show. Danny Boy, Kyle, is it possible to get on March Madness and choose your personal plays instead of premium? When you do that at your time of sign up, Danny, you either pick March Madness package including 3 days of premium plays, March Madness package including the personal, March Madness including soccer. Absolutely. I bet with the GOAT. Kyle, how much are you laying on the NCAA package games? Is it 3K or lanes? That is an excellent question. I treat them much like we do our premium plays or my personal plays, but I always start out a little bit slower in the first four. Because and then once we get into the swing of things in the first round, I usually start going bigger until about the Elite Eight, and then the Final Four, I back it back down just a tad bit, just because it's the Final Four. Unless I get a really good, catch on a game, and then I might continue to hammer it. But for the most part, I treat them exactly like a premium play or personal play. I straight bet them. I don't throw in a parlay unless I'm feeling frisky. And I think that they're just gonna, knock the socks off the books. But for the most part, the goal is to turn the profit. So make sure that I'm always betting them the same. If I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna be consistent on. If there's two of them, they're both gonna be bet the same. If there's three of them that day, I'm gonna be betting them the same. Jeff, do you still get the national title game for the March Madness package? Nope. That was the early bird special that ended on the 14th. That ended on the 14th. But today's agenda, we're going to go over the brackets. We're going to go over some future angles and where there might be value. Then we're going to go over the games today. And then when it's all said and done, we're all going to be hooting and hollering and having a good time. Pax says, Kyle, do you decide which March Madness package games go on the package picks versus premiums versus personals? Any method to the madness? We all do. We all have our hands in the March Madness package. I don't want to say all of us. The two gentlemen that do the soccer, their area of expertise is definitely not college basketball. So they'll help us out. They put their input in with premium plays or stuff like that, or the other plays that we have. But as far as the March Madness package, it's actually 6 of the 8 of us all have a focus on the tournament. And a lot of us, when, here's one of the cool things when it comes to like March Madness and the way that we work. I mean, we've got 8 guys here, including myself, that I'll be honest, depending on their area of expertise, are some of the best in the industry. Some of the old timers that work here, just absolutely unbelievable at what they do consistently. But us having the available resources to have, so for instance, our March Madness package, 6 of the 8 guys all have our hands in it. Well, there's basically 4 different brackets inside March Madness. You've got basically 4 conferences. You've got the West, the East, the South, and the Northwest. So 4 of the individuals each have their own West, South, East, Northwest to focus on. Because if you had to focus on every single game today, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. But because of that we have the resource, we have, a couple guys here that will follow the Big 10 or the Big 12 religiously. I mean, and that's their main focus. But as far as March Madness goes, and here at the company, we've got guys like Jay is his main area of expertise for the tournament is the South Conference or the South bracket. 2 of us, myself included, myself and one of the other guys, were basically all the way around. Put our input in for all of them. Now, obviously, everybody has their say, for all of them. But as far as the main research goes, like Jay will be focusing in on just the South. So it's always fun, and we have a lot of great minds here, and a lot of resources to deploy and use for what we do. Are we perfect? No. Nobody's perfect. We're human. We're betting on humans. We can just like you guys, we can see an angle that we absolutely believe is, the best angle possible, and the outcome is different. Why? Because we're betting on humans. Brandon, did I set up a Cappers Nation bracket contest? No, we did not do one this year. No, we did not do one this year. Just way too busy to do that. I know it's a lot of fun, and I do apologize. I'm gonna have one of the guys next time focus on that stuff, because I'll be honest, you guys don't want to take me away from what I do for the plays and the show just to have a bracket contest. I know the brackets are fun, but when it's all said and done, we're gonna make more money doing this than, you know, having a bracket. You know, brackets are fun and all, but, you know, the real fun is making the money on the actual betting side. Fernando, does the soccer package include the game of the year? No, sir, it does not. Jeff, my brother, welcome on board for the March Madness package. Glad to have you, brother. Glad to have you. Shane says he loves to take a 12 seed to beat a 5 seed. It happens a lot. They don't call this March Madness for nothing. They do not call this March Madness for nothing. And we're going to have some madness. We're going to have some madness. Mo says we're trying to make some money, not have fun on the bracket. Raymond says you should do a March Madness mini package like you did a couple years ago. I remember that. I remember the mini package that they ran later on towards the end. I don't know if they were... Actually, I brought that up a couple days ago. Said that, you know, later on in the tournament, they should have a, you know, a mini package or whatever the case may be. I don't know if they're going to. L-Craft, if there's no soccer game on a day I have a package, do I still get charged? Generally speaking, there'll be soccer. But if you're on a year package, then yeah, you get charged. If you're on a 3-day package, no, we don't charge you one of your 3 precious days, or 6 if you buy 3, get 3 free. We're pretty fair about that. Jesus says the soccer today is just beautiful. Jesus, my brother, that is one good way to describe it, in my opinion. Fast Races Wichita State to advance today. Brandon says, I blame the parking lot guys. Kyle, you're good. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, we have a lot to do. Mr. Bailey, thanks for jumping on board the game of the year. Daniel as well, thanks for jumping on board their soccer game of the year. Edwin, thanks for jumping on board the March Madness package as well. I know you already have the combo package, so I'll make sure that your premium plays start the day after your combo package. That way you're not overlapping or anything like that. Alrighty, so I'm going to pop everything up. We're going to take a look at some early bracket talk. Actually, late bracket talk, because everything's starting today. Really tomorrow. I'm going to be honest, we may get the first floor today and some NIT action, but the real fun is going to be tomorrow. The real fun is going to be tomorrow, but we're going to take a look at some early bracket talk. That's on the agenda first. Then we're going to talk about futures, future liabilities, future opportunities for the tournament. And then when it's all said and done, we're going to break down all the games on the board today, and we're going to have a grand old time. But before we get into it and before I forget, I would love to send my beautiful wife that good morning text message. Don't worry, Jeff. I'll tell her that, you said hello from the show as well. Alrighty. Good morning, Edward, as well. Edward says, last time Duke, Kentucky, and Louisville didn't make the tournament was 1976. Edward was not even alive yet. Primetime Yoke, does she work? She takes care of everything at the house and me and the little one. It's probably a tougher job. Actually, well, it's not probably. It is. It's a tougher job than what I get to do. I get to deal with you guys, go live, look at numbers, look at games, take a colored dart, close my eyes, and throw that shit up against the board. But no, as far as going to an office or anything like that, no. She takes care of the little one, takes care of our house, allows me to do what I do, and takes care of everything, basically. Jordan says, bet against the Bulls a couple days ago. They win. Then I bet on them yesterday. They turn around and they blow the lead big time. That, par for the course right there with the Bulls. Frozen screen, we got that fixed. Jared, yeah, definitely a tougher job. Can you imagine? Jeff says full-time job. Absolutely. Can you imagine having to deal with me on a daily, nightly basis? But yeah, she keeps the family going, that's for sure. Mo says, yeah, same team put the line in for the Pacers, favored. Was going to press it again on the Nets. But got the second half at Pick'em. Rich says, another Oilers first period over 1.5. Woo! Soon the bookmakers are going to make that one too. Jared says the Nets had everybody fooled yesterday. We did have the play on the Nets yesterday, and I don't know how many people called, emailed, messaged, texted. Do you still like it? 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 And it's good to hammer the books yesterday on that one. Alrighty, so just says James Harden doing his MVP thing, right? He could run a whole team all by himself. So taking a look at what we have today, when you just go down the list, got some games today. Mount St. Mary's and Texas Southern, NCAA tournament game. Drake and Wichita State as well. Then you've got NC State and Davidson at 7 p.m. Eastern Time NIT action. Norfolk State and App State, one of the first four in the NCAA. SMU and Boise State, little NIT action at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Then 9:55, the first four of the start of March Madness. UCLA and Michigan State, the marquee matchup of the day. I can't wait till we get to talk about that game and what to expect and what's going to happen or what could happen. And whichever team advances out of that game, I think has an opportunity to go deep in the tournament, especially if Michigan State escapes UCLA, a struggling UCLA team. But first, taking a look at the brackets. Mr. Catazone, thanks for jumping on board. The soccer game of the year. Take a look at the bracket. We're going to start with that West bracket. The matchups that we're going to get out of there, the first four. The winner of the first four between Norfolk State and App State today is going to get Gonzaga in the first round. You know, at least one of these two teams is going to be able to say they won a game in March Madness. You know, I would have rather been in a first four if I was one of these other schools than to be UC Santa Barbara going up against Creighton. UC Santa Barbara made the dance, but they're going to go home after round one. Whoever wins between Norfolk State and App State is going to go home after round one. However, one of them is going to go home with a win notched on their belt from March Madness 2021. Taking a look out of the West and opportunities that we have. You got Oklahoma and Missouri, Creighton and UC Santa Barbara. I'm sorry, but UC Santa Barbara is going home. Scott says, so betting hockey 101, if I don't bet the three-way, does that mean I lose if the bet goes to OT? No, the three-way is just no overtime. So if you bet the full game, what happens in overtime, happens in overtime. Jeff says, hopefully these coaches have a huge bonus for winning a game in the NCAA tournament, right? And I'm sure a lot of them do. I'm sure a lot of them have a bonus to get there as well as win one, or however far that you go. I would imagine most do. We all know the bigger coaches and the bigger conferences all do. Oklahoma and Missouri, I mean, that matchup almost seems unfair for both of those two teams. Both of those two teams will be quality. Will Missouri be able to handle Gonzaga or Oklahoma for that matter? No, but I think lower in that bracket, I think there's going to be an opportunity for some teams to be able to handle Gonzaga. Virginia, with all their rest, that is the wild card. A lot of people are saying Virginia may not even get past Ohio, let alone cover the spread if they do. We'll take a look at that one during game day, but I think Virginia will be live, assuming they get all their players back for that second round matchup on the 21st and 22nd to go up against either Creighton or UC Santa Barbara. And if they were going to face Gonzaga, they'd face them in the Sweet 16, which I do believe will happen. It'll be either Virginia or Creighton to face off against Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. Lower in that West bracket, obviously USC is going to face the winner of Wichita State and Drake. When you combine them both, you get Wichita State. But USC, my Trojans, will face the winner of one of those two teams to advance to face the winner, unfortunately, of Kansas and Eastern Washington. I will be honest with you. There are so many individuals out there, respected individuals in this industry that I actually respect, that say Kansas is on upset alert. Hold on one second, folks. Hold on. Hello. Yeah, hello. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. And then they'll do the other stuff, the oil change, transmission, rear diff, and check everything else out. Perfect. Okay. Yep. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye. The motorhome is at the Ford dealer getting its much-needed maintenance ready for the next trip. As soon as March Madness is over, Clear Lake bound, baby. Got to go fishing. But back to Eastern Washington and Kansas. There is quite a few individuals out there that do believe Eastern Washington is a live dog to win against Kansas. Personally, I don't see it. I don't care how good or how big Eastern Washington's win streak is at the current moment. What have they won? 4 in a row? Whoop-de-doo. I mean, I know they had that nice big season, but you're playing the Sacramento States, the Idahos, and you're catching 10.5 points against Kansas. Now, I get it. Kansas in the COVID protocol, they're not even there yet. They're not even there yet. But Eastern Washington, in my opinion, is definitely not live. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I can't see it. No fucking way. I think you could take the bench personnel. I think you could take the lowest 5 players on the Kansas bench and put them up against Eastern Washington, and they should still smash them, in my opinion. But I'll be honest, there's a lot of people on Eastern Washington. Why? I don't fucking know. I don't see it. We'll touch more, on this on Saturday. But again, there's a lot of people on Eastern Washington. A lot of people. Coming else. And so, in my opinion, we're going to see Kansas and USC going at it in the second round. Unfortunately, one of my teams has got to go. One of my teams has got to go. Scott, yeah, the motorhome does have a V10. I do have a gas. I do have a gas guzzler. But, yeah, it's the cab AC in the front went out on me on the last trip. Actually, 2 trips ago, but it's been cold, so I really wasn't worried about it. But the compressor was leaking. So that good old extended warranty, that big old extended warranty covering that $2,500 bill. Because I'm sure my service bill will probably be $2,000 or more. So unfortunately, one of my teams is going to have to go home. I have 3 futures bets on Kansas. Believe it or not, I haven't bet any on USC. USC's scary, though. USC is scary. And we're going to go over their futures and opportunities there. USC is definitely a scary team. Depending on, not just Mobley, but his supporting cast around him. I mean, they're the biggest team in Division I. As far as how his supporting cast plays, if they play top-notch and they actually play some defense, USC is definitely a scary team. No doubt about it. Then, right down below him, on the other side of that bottom half of the West bracket, Oregon and VCU. I mean, I feel sorry for VCU having to play Oregon. Oregon comes to play in the tournament time. That West bracket is stacked with multiple potential Final Four teams. I got to admit it. Right below that, Iowa and Grand Canyon. Sorry, GCU. I mean, I get it. If I was GCU, I would have rather been in the first 4. At least you have a chance to notch that belt with a win. But they're not beating Iowa. I don't care, how great they played in their conference tournament. It's GCU, all right? They're not beating the 2 seed of Iowa. It's just not happening. But just out of the West, Iowa, Oregon, Kansas, USC, Virginia, Gonzaga, 6 teams that I could potentially give great reasons on why we'll see either one of those 6 out of the Final Four, or in the Final Four. The problem is, the one to beat is Gonzaga, and everybody else is going to beat up each other before they get to Gonzaga, except for maybe Creighton or Virginia. You know, they'll be the first ones that get a whack at them, that actually have a chance. But who knows? Maybe Gonzaga gets, I mean, you got to look at how they played this year. How many games did Gonzaga play from behind? The entire game. Which shows that they can play, you know, from adversity. They can play from behind. They can win from behind. We already know that. Can Oklahoma or Missouri send them home in the second round? If Oklahoma or Missouri sends them home in the second round, watch out from the West bracket. Somebody's going all the way up. Taking a look at the East, right down below it, which would face the winner of the West in the Final Four. You've got Michigan against the winner of Mount St. Mary's or Texas Southern. Again, congrats to the winner of the Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern. One of you is going home with a win in March Madness, and that's all. All right, one of you is one and done. Two of you is two and done. Fact. All right, Michigan is advancing to the second round, more than likely to face LSU. LSU and the Bonnies going to be going at it. You know, I'll be honest, a lot of people saying the Bonnies and their defense are live against LSU. Personally, I don't see it. I think LSU absolutely rolls. Next up, Colorado and Georgetown. I think the Buffaloes and their free throw shooting go home. I think Georgetown. Now, how Georgetown comes out, if they come out red hot like they were, honestly, I don't think that they'll continue that red hot shooting trend where everything in their mother just goes in the hoop. Lex Steele says Texas Southern will win one game and done, as you said. More than likely. More than likely. The winner of that matchup today is going to win one and done. They're one and done, and they're going home. But hey, they're going to celebrate after one game. They're going to advance to the first round. They're going to be able to say when they graduate college, I won a NCAA tournament game. Even if you take out the hot play of Georgetown, I think they're a better team overall than Colorado. I mean, I know a lot of people are in Colorado. Colorado gave some great Pac-12 teams trouble. However, Colorado gave great Pac-12 teams trouble primarily on their own home court. It's not going to be the case here. All right, they're traveling out of the West where they don't fare too well. So I look for the Hoyas to keep their hot streak rolling, and then they're going to more than likely run into Florida State. When they run into Florida State, more than likely, they're probably going to go home. They're probably going to go home. So I can see Florida State and Michigan in the Sweet 16. Ultimately, Michigan advancing to that Elite Eight. Where did that comment go? Victor says, oh my God, Georgetown has better guard play and good bigs. They can beat Colorado outright. Agree with you there, Victor. Agree with you there. You know, the talent that goes to Georgetown to play is definitely better, in my opinion, than what you get that goes to Colorado on a daily basis or, on a yearly basis. However, Colorado does got that, that one miracle player for them. Granted, they've got a good supporting cast and they knock down their free throws. Best in the country, best in, potentially our lifetime for, a free throw shooting team. Although, here's the thing. They made free throws all season long. But when it actually came down to it in a actual conference tournament game where it mattered, where did their free throw shooting go? They folded under pressure. So you're telling me that there's no pressure in this tournament today to knock down your free throws? If they couldn't make them in the conference semifinals and they couldn't make it in their conference tournament finals, if they could knock down their free throws, they were clipping 83%. If they couldn't do that then, how are they going to do that in the big dance? If they folded under pressure of that conference tournament, how are they going to do that in the big dance? I just don't see it happening. Georgetown, in my opinion, is probably going to advance out of that one. Now, when you take a look at that bottom part of the East bracket, BYU, sorry BYU, but you get the winner of UCLA at Michigan State. If UCLA walks away with a win today, BYU is going home. If Michigan State walks away with a win today, BYU is definitely going home. Now, will BYU be live against UCLA? I think any team is live against UCLA if they get the UCLA team. I mean, UCLA is a fast-paced team. If they get the UCLA that rushes shots and takes poor shooting opportunities, turns the ball over, makes sloppy passes, I think anybody is live against UCLA in this tournament if we get that UCLA team that doesn't take care of the basketball. Now, if you get that UCLA team that actually takes good opportunities, takes quality shots, they can shoot with the best of anybody. But when they're rushing the ball and they're taking those shitty looks and they're taking horrible, just disgustingly fucking horrible layups, you get a fast break, and if you're in a bad spot, pull up. Pull up, regroup, let the rest of your team catch up. No need to waste a possession. UCLA is known for that. If that's what we get out of UCLA, I don't care if they're facing BYU. I don't care if it's the game against just Michigan State today. If that's the UCLA that we get, it's over before it's written. Shane says, I just trust Michigan State today. Look at who they beat as of late. Both teams, when you jump into it, and you start diving into what each team has done and this and that and who you can trust. Obviously UCLA struggling down the stretch. They lost their first three, their last three conference games against Colorado, Oregon, and USC. But if you're going to lose 3 games in your conference, Colorado, Oregon, and USC, the 3 to lose to. Then they lost to Oregon State in overtime after blowing a massive lead in the first half. Then you take a look at the Spartans, guys. Were they red hot? No. Have they ever been red hot? They won 6 games to start the season against Eastern Michigan, Notre Dame. They beat Duke. They beat Detroit, Western Michigan, and Oakland. Michigan State petered out after their first 6-0 to start the season. They dropped 3 straight in conference play. You take a look at their conference wins. They beat Nebraska, whoop-de-doo. They beat Rutgers, whoop-de-doo. They beat Nebraska, again, big deal. They beat Penn State by 2, no big deal. They beat Indiana by 7, They actually beat Illinois, which is kind of scary. They beat them by 9, but they were on their own home court. That was a quality win in conference play. They beat Ohio State by 4 at home, conference play at home win. Then they beat Indiana back at home, and they beat Michigan at home. So they beat 2 1 seeds, but on their own home court. And when you take a look at how the Spartans play in just their own conference, away from their home court, they lost to Michigan. They lost to Maryland. They did beat Indiana at home, on the road. They lost to Purdue on the road. They beat Nebraska on the road. They have 2 conference road wins. They have 3 wins. I think it's, 3-1, 2, 3. They have 3 wins all season long away from the Breslin Center. That's it. 3 wins. 3 wins. 3 fucking wins away from home. That's it. Not even a neutral site game win that they can say that was half of from home. It just doesn't happen. Michigan State playing at home is awesome. Michigan State playing away, we haven't seen it. That's the only thing that makes me a little bit leery of Michigan State is they're playing, away from home. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, when we break down that game. But back to the brackets. BYU, if you got to play Michigan State, I'm sorry. You're going home. Right below that will get the winner of either BYU and UCLA or BYU and Michigan State. Texas and Abilene Christian. Abilene Christian, I'm sorry. You probably should have been in the first 4. That way you actually had an opportunity to win a game because you're not beating Texas. Congratulations. You made it. You're going home. You know, maybe they'll let you stay an extra day or two so you can watch some other teams play, but more than likely, you're going home. Quincy Scott, is UCLA any good fellas? Didn't really watch them play much this year. UCLA is a great team when they play quality basketball. But when UCLA plays like they've been playing the last 4 games and much throughout the season, inconsistent shooting, poor shooting opportunities, rushing the ball, not taking the best opportunities because they are a faster paced team, that type of UCLA is a horrible UCLA. J-Rock, you're crack. J-Rock is an Arizona fan. Lex Steele, just so you know, J-Rock is an Arizona fan. He's just mad and sad that his team got caught paying for play and they're, not in the big dance. So Abilene Christian, congratulations. Your participation trophy will be mailed to your dorm rooms, but you guys are going home after round 1. UConn and Maryland. Kind of sucks to see UConn and Maryland go at it and bang heads in round 1, if you ask me. Honestly, they probably should have split up some of these other matchups. Poor UConn and poor Maryland. UConn is playing absolutely lights out. I love seeing what we're seeing out of UConn, guys. I mean, out of the Huskies. I mean, just absolutely quality basketball coming from UConn right now. UConn, Georgetown, that conference is going to be a lot of fun to watch next year, let me tell you. And the years to come from the recruiting class, that both of those teams are going to start getting now. Now that they're actually making the dance and getting their names out there. As far as UConn and Maryland go, too early. I'd have to definitely spend some time doing a little more research on that matchup before I say, UConn versus Maryland. Probably the way UConn's been playing, they're probably the team to beat. Alabama and Iona. Sorry, Iona. Congratulations. You made the big dance. You made the big dance, but you're going home. Edward says, LMAO, Abilene, please use social distancing on your trip home. 100%. Abilene Christian, when you're headed home, please make sure you social distance on your way home and out the door. And please don't affect any of our future bet teams on your way out the door. Taking a look at the South, guys, the top of the South bracket, you've got number 1 seed Baylor going up against Hartford. Hartford, congratulations. You have done the impossible. You boys made the big dance. Congratulations, but you guys are going home in round number 1. But congratulations on making the dance, everybody. Everybody stand up. Give Old Hartford a round of applause for showing up. Your participation trophy will be mailed to your dorm rooms. North Carolina and Wisconsin. Kind of unfair if you ask me that we got to see North Carolina and Wisconsin. You should have just gave Baylor an extra bye into the second round and let, maybe North Carolina or Wisconsin get rid of Hartford. All right. But we do get North Carolina and Wisconsin. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Ultimately, I think North Carolina comes to play tournament time. I think they best Wisconsin. We'll see, game day on that one when we break that one down and we crunch some numbers. A little too early to tell for me anyways, but they're going to face Baylor, obviously. And then right below that, the bottom part of the top of the South bracket, you get Villanova and Winthrop. Winthrop, again, round of applause. Winthrop, you made the dance. You made the dance. Congratulations. But you're going home in the first round. Purdue and North Texas. Purdue is a sleeper. Purdue is a sleeper. I am telling you this right now. Purdue is a sleeper. If Purdue gets by Villanova, watch out. I think Purdue will not only best Baylor in a matchup, I think they best North Carolina in a matchup, and I think they would best Wisconsin in a matchup. Personal opinion. Which would make a route for Purdue to be able to upset a 1 seed, assuming the 1 seed actually makes it to the Elite Eight. But I think Purdue would be live in the Elite Eight, either against 1 seed Baylor, North Carolina, or Wisconsin. Or hell, Villanova, if Villanova was the best. Well, Villanova wouldn't get past them, so they wouldn't get by that side of the bracket anyways. But if Purdue escapes, Purdue can go far. Shane says Villanova is losing in the first round against Winthrop. I don't see that one happen. I don't see Jay Wright letting them go home in round 1. Round 2 against Purdue, yes. Taking a look at that bottom half of that South bracket, Texas State and Utah State. The top half of the bottom half is what we're going to call it. Texas State, Utah State. This is a lot of people riding high on Utah State. We'll see. We'll break that one down on Game Time. Arkansas and Colgate, congrats. You know, Colgate, you guys made the big dance. Give you guys yourselves a big round of applause. Please social distance on your way out the door. You know, although, you know, Arkansas played like a bag of ass the other day in their conference game, you know, in their tournament, the last game. Rich, I love it. Thanks for showing up. You're cut. But again, Colgate, again, round of applause. You guys were very impressive. You guys made a big dance. But you're going home in the first round. Florida and Virginia Tech, this one almost seems unfair. Unfair that we get to see Virginia Tech and Florida. I think Florida advances. A little too early to tell, though. Would definitely want to break that one down. And here's another one. Here's another participation trophy. I got word from my inside source that they've already mailed the participation trophy to Oral Roberts, all right? Oral Roberts, the participation trophy, believe it or not, is set to be delivered to the dorm rooms before they ever even play, all right? Oral Roberts going to be going up against Ohio State in the bottom of that South bracket, and they're going to be going home. So, again, big round of applause for Oral Roberts. You are out the door. Social distance on your way out the door as well. So, as far as that bracket go, I can see Ohio State against Florida, and then that one will be a matchup, in my opinion. I think the old SEC gets the job done out of Florida. I've been real high on Florida until their big injury earlier in the season, but I have been really high on Florida. I like that they played against, you know, with adversity, and they're still here in the big dance, you know. I can see them in the Sweet 16 going up against Arkansas, Texas Tech, somewhere right around there. And then either way, whoever advances out of that top side of the South is going to win in the Elite Eight, in my opinion. I don't think anybody in that bottom part of the bracket will stand a chance. Edward says, damn, I got Oral Roberts for an upset on a crazy bracket. LOL. Edward, their participation trophies and their ribbons were already mailed. You know, like when you played soccer at 9 years old and your team finished in last place, you guys got the ribbon with the trophy on it. It's already been mailed to Oral Roberts. Now let's take a look at the Midwest bracket. When you take a look at the Midwest bracket, let's talk about the teams that are in there, all right? 1 seed, Illinois, Drexel, Loyola Chicago, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Liberty, San Diego State, Syracuse, West Virginia, Morehead State, Clemson, Rutgers, Houston, and Cleveland State. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate that. When you take a look at those teams that I just named, this is Illinois' bracket. The Midwest is Illinois' bracket. It's theirs to lose. Now, a lot of people say it's Gonzaga's to lose over in the West. But let's be honest. Gonzaga actually has a lot of potential teams. A lot of potential teams that can play quality against them. Duke says they get the medals with the ribbons before the game even starts, right? That first matchup, the Fighting Illini against Drexel. Congratulations, Drexel. You made the big dance. But you boys are going home in round 1. But again, participation trophies have been mailed to your dorm rooms. Please exit the building and follow all social distancing guidelines on your trip home. Loyola Chicago, Georgia Tech. A lot of people riding that Loyola Chicago train. But I just don't see it. I just don't see it against Georgia Tech. I just don't see it. 8 seed of Loyola Chicago against the 9 seed of Georgia Tech. I think the 9 seed will advance. Tennessee and Oregon State. Sorry, Beavs. The Beavers are going home. You don't even deserve to be there. I know. You got the Pac-12 championship, and that's why you're here. But I'm sorry. You kids are going home where you deserve to be. And that might just be some Pac-12 hate here. All right? It might just be some Pac-12 hate here. Oklahoma State, Liberty. Congrats, Liberty. You guys made it to the 13th seed into the first round. You get a notch on your belt? Nope, you're going home. Congratulations on your successful making it to the big dance. Please social distance on your way home. And have a safe flight, Liberty. San Diego State and Syracuse. Can that Aztecs defense stop Syracuse? 6 seed versus the 11 seed. I know a lot of people have Syracuse to lose in the first round. Too early to tell. I'd definitely break this one down. But I'd have to say the way Syracuse has been playing, a lot of heart, soul, and grit and determination. San Diego State, you have to remember, who do they play? They play the Running Rebels, all right? They play UNLV. They play San Jose State. They play New Mexico. They played Nevada. They play a lot of subpar teams. So if you have a quality defense against subpar teams, yeah, you're going to stand out. You're going to have excellent fucking numbers. But when you actually have to play a team that plays in a big conference, that actually plays the real teams and real conferences, sorry, Mountain West. Andre says, I got Syracuse sneaking by. I see it too, brother. I'm right there with you. Syracuse has the better talent. Better coach, better talent. And they definitely have the tougher schedule of the two. Their record may not be as nice, but they have the tougher schedule. You put San Diego State. You put San Diego State in the same conference. And I'm actually pulling up this matchup. And then we'll move on. Trying to pull up this matchup. Maybe I actually don't have, maybe they haven't uploaded it for me yet. But I am looking. There it is, right here. If you were to put San Diego State and you replaced them in their conference, in the ACC, if you made San Diego State play the game Syracuse played, Game 1, I think San Diego State would beat Bryant. Game 2, San Diego State would beat Niagara. They'd beat Ryder. They'd probably be live against Rutgers, which, beat Syracuse. I don't think they'd beat Boston College. I think they would be live against Northeastern. They'd be live against Buffalo. But when you get into just conference games and the rest of their schedule, I don't think San Diego State would have beat Pittsburgh. I think it would have been a very close game. Maybe they would have, but I think that would have been a bit of a close game. I don't think they beat Georgetown. I don't think they beat North Carolina on the best day of the year. I don't think they beat Miami, and Miami sucks. I don't think they beat Virginia Tech. I definitely don't think San Diego State beats Virginia. We might only see 100 points in that game, but I don't think they would beat them. I don't think they beat NC State. I don't think they beat Clemson. I don't think they would beat Notre Dame. I don't even think they'd beat Duke when Duke was on a losing streak. They definitely don't beat Georgia Tech, in my opinion. San Diego State plays great defense against the teams in their conference. That they do. Keep in mind, they gave up 72 to BYU, gave up 70 to Colorado State. And then they play teams like Nevada, Utah State, Air Force, all right, Air Force. Wyoming, San Jose State, Fresno State, Boise State, and the Running Rebels. They lost twice to Utah State. All right, so I think it's safe to say I'm on the Syracuse bandwagon in that game. West Virginia, Morehead State. Congratulations, Morehead State. You guys made the big dance, but you're going home as a 14 seed. Round of applause, everybody, from Morehead State. Your tickets are waiting for you at the counter. And please remember to social distance. On your way back home to Morehead State. I didn't see what Edward said he was betting. J-Rock says San Diego plays good defense, but Syracuse has a lot of quality shooters. I agree. Tennessee, Oregon State, congratulations, Beavers. You won the Pac-12 championship. Somehow, some way, you two are going to be joining the Drexel and the Loyola Chicago and the San Diego State of your conference, or your bracket, excuse me. Round of applause. The Beavs will be going home. Oklahoma State and Liberty. Congratulations, Liberty. You guys are going home as well. Clemson and Rutgers. This is a toss-up. I think either one could advance. Cleveland State. What do we say about Cleveland State? All right. I mean, they get the second-ranked Houston Cougs. You know, I almost feel bad for Cleveland State. You made the big dance. You made the big dance, but as Rich just said, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. It's straight to the dorms for you. Cleveland State, you're going home. Round of applause to Cleveland State. Your participation trophies will be mailed to you. You like that, Nathan? The Beavs? Jordan says Oregon State doesn't deserve to be in the tournament. To be honest, you know, I'm right there with you. They won the Pac-12 conference tournament, but all season long their numbers don't support it. Just don't. They just don't. So, as far as the Midwest, who can I see facing off against the Fighting Illini? You know, I can see red hot Georgia Tech being tough, giving them a few elbows and a tough task. And I think Georgia Tech would be pesky, but I think the Fighting Illini in the end would get it done. Tennessee or Oklahoma State, I'd have to say Oklahoma State will be the one that would challenge the Fighting Illini, in my opinion. But I think the Fighting Illini would just be too much. Out of the rest of the bracket, Syracuse, West Virginia, Houston, who can I see advancing out of there? If Syracuse picks up their play and they play with that heart and that grit, I can see them making the second round, maybe even the Sweet 16. But when it's all said and done, I think Houston and the Fighting Illini will be going at it. And when it's all said and done from there, I think the Fighting Illini get the job done. Fighting Illini to the Final Four, in my opinion. But again, so many people are on it, maybe they get upset. Maybe they get upset by Georgia Tech. Maybe they get upset by Georgia Tech. So there's the bracket rundown. Yeah, Edward, I definitely think they have a better chance than the others. How far does Houston go? I think Houston will make at least a Sweet 16. And if they get by either Syracuse or West Virginia, I think it'll be Houston more than likely and Syracuse going up against the Fighting Illini, and then the Fighting Illini get the job done. The path for Illinois to get to the Final Four just seems too easy. To be honest, it just seems too easy. But you always get that team, and it should have been Gonzaga that had the easy route. And maybe Gonzaga does. Maybe Gonzaga just makes easy work. But if Gonzaga goes down early, look at all those busted brackets. There ain't going to be a perfect bracket in college basketball. Matt, who do I think comes out of the East? Just depends. I think it's going to be the winner of Michigan, or between Michigan and whoever comes out of that bottom part of the East. Either Michigan State, UCLA if they get hot. Whoever wins between Michigan State and UCLA, assuming one of those teams beats BYU against Texas, I think will face off against Michigan, but more than likely Michigan. Michigan's path looks too easy as well. They're going to run into a hot Georgetown team or a hot Florida State team. In my opinion, UConn's hot. They can come out of the bottom part of the East to face Michigan if Michigan gets by, Georgetown or Florida State. Matt Bailey says Oklahoma State can easily make a run. I do agree. They're definitely going to win their first round matchup against Liberty, in my opinion. All righty, so taking a look at some futures and popping up some future opportunities. Give me one quick second, folks. Just going to be popping up some future opportunities for us. And taking a look at some futures, because there may be a dark horse or two that might be worth throwing something on. So we're going to take a look at all those angles. And see what we can do. Give me 1 second. Let me pop this up. And then we'll see what we can do. All righty. Where is BetOnline? Let's log into the BetOnline account. And take a look at some good old futures. Let's pop them up. Give me 1 second here. All righty. Pop up our futures. Gonna have some fun. See if we can't find an angle or two to find a team that could potentially get us to the Final Four, where you really have some hedging opportunities. Matt says, Shane, who do you like out of the South? That is the toughest pick for me. The South is definitely loaded. The South is definitely loaded, if you ask me. No doubt about it. Just logging in. All right. Steven, if you're watching, I just replied to your text message. Your account is good to go, brother. Your account is good to go. All right, so looking at those good old NCAA tournament future opportunities. Travis says, I think a lot of those teams that you name really are going home, but some of them might cover the spread. What I was going over with the bracket had nothing to do with the spread, brother. Had only to do with who was advancing as far as the bracket goes. As far as, against the spread, we'll take a look at most of these games on game day for the games that they're playing. Matt, do I think Florida State beats Ohio State in the second round? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. All righty. It's that time, guys. Gonzaga coming in the tournament favorite as of this morning at plus 180. The Fighting Illini down to plus 450. That might be worth a stab. That might be worth a stab. I do believe the Fighting Illini have one of the easiest paths to the Final Four. But when you look at their matchup on who they're gonna play out of the South, they're gonna play a stacked team out of the South. Whoever they get out of the South, more than likely is gonna be an absolute stacked team. No doubt about it. Baylor plus 600, Michigan plus 750. I think it's Michigan's Eastern bracket to lose. But again, I think Michigan is eventually going to run into a very hot either Georgetown team or Florida State team. And I think that they may be, on upset alert, go home alert come Sweet 16 time. We've seen Michigan fold time and time again. So what will happen? We're going to find out. That's for sure. That's for sure. Houston plus 1,400. No, don't think that there's, although I could see, when I look at, first of all, when I look at futures, I look at a team that is going to pay me great odds and get us as close to that Final Four as possible to give us a really solid opportunity to be able to make a hedge bet and make sure that we're securing profits. That is my goal when I make a futures bet. Obviously, if you pick the winner, you pick the winner. But I'm definitely looking to be able to hedge at one point. And obviously, hedging in the Sweet 16, you're giving away all your profits. Much like the Elite 8 at times as well. Just depends on how big of odds you got and how big of a dog the team that you're betting on will be. But when you take a look at, one thing that I always look for when taking a future is, especially when brackets are available to us now. Now, if you made future bets a month ago, you don't know what bracket they were going to be in, who they were going to be matched up against, who their potential opponents were. But one thing that you want to look for on a day like today when you're making futures bets is keep in mind when if you're going to be hedging. Now, if you're making a futures bet and you're letting it ride and die until the very end, or at least a championship game, by all means, let it roll. Let it roll. But if you're making a futures bet with hopes of just making a profit, of turning that profit, then you want to try, it's not always possible, but you want to make sure that if you can, the teams that you're making those futures on, that you're getting plus 3,000 or plus 5,000 or plus 15,000 on to go deep in a tournament, you want to have the best opportunity that when their matchups come, the betting odds have them either as a favorite or a very, very, very small dog at the worst. Because let's just say your team makes the Final Four and you go to hedge and they're a plus 250. You have to lay minus 350 to hedge anything. You can't. It's like that Georgetown to win the national or to win their conference tournament. I had them at plus 800. In that conference tournament game, in order for me to hedge, I would have had to lay minus 400. There was no value in that. There was no value in that because they were such a big underdog. So you want to find future opportunities. For instance, UCLA or Michigan State. UCLA and Michigan State, their path to the Elite Eight or the Final Four is going to be through Texas, UConn. I think either one of those would be live against Alabama. And then obviously, ultimately, the Florida State, Georgetown, Michigan out of the top part of that bracket. But in order to make the Elite Eight, Michigan State or UCLA, I think their biggest and toughest task would be Texas. And then possibly a red-hot UConn or Alabama. However, if it's Michigan State beating UCLA, Michigan State, for example, I think would be a very small underdog. Very small underdog against Texas, which it doesn't really matter because I wouldn't hedge it in the second round anyways. But if they advance to the Sweet 16, I think Michigan State would more than likely be playing the winner of UConn and Alabama. And I think Michigan State would be a favorite in any matchup against UConn or Alabama. Now, they may be a small favorite or they may be a pick'em, but I don't see them coming in as a dog in the Elite Eight, or excuse me, in the Sweet 16. Against one of those two teams, which might, depending on the odds, give you a hedging opportunity early on. Michigan plus 750, Alabama plus 1,600. Who do I have winning it all? I don't have anybody winning it all. Brackets are for fun. I'm here to make money. I spend, brackets are fun, Alex. I didn't do a bracket this year. I might do one just to say I had one, but as far as everything goes, brackets are for fun. Beating the spread is what's going to put money in my pocket, and picking a bracket's not going to put any money in my pocket. Texas plus 2,800. Texas at plus 2,800 to win it all. I really don't like their chances. I don't think they would get by Michigan. Florida State, I think, is going to run into a very hot Georgetown team. And obviously the winner of that is going to face, more than likely, Michigan, assuming they don't get upset. In the Sweet 16. Florida State at plus 4,000. I think Florida State at plus 4,000 has value. I think it definitely has value. We've done the bracket contest in the past. We've done the bracket contest in the past, but not this year. Not this year. I do apologize. I know it's fun for you guys to have something, to compete in, But like I said earlier, you want my focus to be on the actual games and beating the spread and putting money in your guys' pocket during the live shows rather than counting up and keeping track of a contest and who's winning and who's not. But I do believe Florida State at plus 4,000 could potentially have great value there. And as far as doing $120 a person, we wouldn't do it. One, it's illegal, and two, we enjoy having our YouTube channel. And there's a lot of brackets out there. North Ender says I don't even do brackets. I usually don't. My bracket is a betting bracket, and that's putting as much money in in this month in our pockets as physically possible. Taking a look at some other opportunities where I think there might be some live opportunities. Virginia keeps going higher and higher. I got Virginia. Man, what was my Virginia at? Plus 2,500, I believe it was. Taking a look at what I had in Virginia. My Virginia futures are at plus 2,500. I have 1,000 to win 25,000 and 1,000, actually $999.99. But to win 25,000 on each. 2,000 to win 50K. And now they're plus 5,000. I definitely think Virginia still has added value. I do believe they'll get by Ohio. That's why we're seeing them so low, being in COVID and all of that. But keep in mind, they were just plus 3,300 a couple days ago. People saying they're going home against Ohio, against the Bobcats. I don't see it. I can see Virginia beating Creighton. I can see Virginia going to the Sweet 16. And if Gonzaga somehow gets upset against either Oklahoma or Missouri, watch out. I can see Virginia making the Elite Eight against whoever comes out of the bottom half of that bracket. Iowa, Oregon, USC, or Kansas. So I do believe Virginia at plus 5,000 still has value. I think Kansas at plus 5,000 still has value. However, they're both coming out of that same bracket. UConn only plus 5,000. UConn has been red hot, and UConn's chance to advance to the Final Four or the Elite Eight out of the Eastern bracket, assuming they escape Maryland, they're going to have to play red hot Alabama, and I think they would be live against Alabama. I really haven't taken a look at a potential matchup between UConn and Alabama yet, but I do believe they would be live there. I think they would definitely run into either Texas or the winner of Michigan State and UCLA. If it's Michigan State and Texas, one of those two teams against UConn is going to be tough for UConn to play to get to the Elite Eight. To get to the Elite Eight against, more than likely, Michigan, if not Florida State, if somehow Michigan slips up. So UConn, while it sounds enticing at plus 5,000, I don't think that there's a lot of value in UConn at plus 5,000. If they were in the 8,000, 10,000, or a higher, like some of these teams, I think we would see value. North Carolina at plus 6,600. If they get by Wisconsin, they're going to have Baylor. We've already seen what happened to Baylor in the conference championship. We already saw what happened. Well, not even chip, tournament. Oklahoma State losing 83-74. So North Carolina, Baylor potential matchup. Is definitely enticing. But North Carolina's inconsistency, the fact that they only lost by 3 to Florida State, shows a lot. I can see North Carolina playing Baylor extremely tough. Coaching matchup. Coach, number one aspect in the big dance. Coach, guard playing a big. Matt Bailey, why would Michigan State be a favorite over Alabama? I think that they would beat Alabama. I think the talent level that goes to play for Tom Izzo is better than the talent level, player for player, bench by bench, that goes to Alabama for college basketball. If you're talking college football, I would feel the exact opposite. Jeff says size and the way UNC rebounds the ball. You have to remember, North Carolina is the number one offensive rebounding team in the entire fucking country. 41.3%. Massively tall team. I think they would definitely be live against a Baylor team. And if for some reason Baylor gets upset in that South bracket in the second round or the Sweet 16 against Purdue, I can see a North Carolina-Purdue matchup, which would be a hell of a game in my opinion. But again, back to finding value at teams that have the potential to go far. The University of North Carolina at plus 6,600. I would love to see this at plus 10,000. But they're not. They're plus 6,600. I do believe there's some great value in North Carolina. Arkansas plus 6,600. Taking a look at their path. I definitely don't see Arkansas going very deep. Other than, their first, maybe the second round. Loyola Chicago, I wouldn't waste my money on it. But then again, they've shocked us a few years ago. Creighton at plus 8,000. Now we're getting into the money where we're talking, trying to find that dog that can go far. That can go far in the dance. I can definitely see a Creighton and Virginia matchup against Gonzaga. But ultimately, if Gonzaga gets to play Creighton, Creighton goes home. Matt says they are plus 6,600, not plus 10,000 for a reason. You said, Kyle, 100%. 100%. I do believe North Carolina would be a live dog against Baylor, assuming they get by Wisconsin. If they have a perfect game in round one, I think there will be a live dog in round two against Baylor. And then they're more than likely going to face, the winner of Villanova and Purdue. If you ask me, probably Purdue. And I think they'll be live against the winner of either one of those teams to make the Elite Eight. I can definitely see North Carolina being live, that's for sure, at plus 6,600. Now, I'm not saying that when I give out future ideas and opportunities, for the record, I'm not saying that I believe that they're going to win it all. Go put your money on them and they're going to win it all. I look for hedging opportunities, for a team that potentially could make the Final Four. For a team that could potentially make the Final Four. Shane says, North Carolina, Wisconsin is one of the hardest picks for me. That's a tough matchup. 100%, definitely a tough matchup, in my opinion. And if they escape that one, I think they're going to be seriously live along the way. Matt says, if Wisconsin is hitting the 3 ball, he sees them winning. The 3 ball can be a problem for North Carolina. I mean, their 3 ball defense, 34.4% is what they give up all season long to opponents shooting the 3 ball. Definitely see that being a problem, no doubt about it. And that's why I said, North Carolina's got to get by Wisconsin first. But at plus 6,600, if they escape Wisconsin, I think they could be live. Taking a look at other future opportunities going down the big number list. Let's take a look. Michigan State. Michigan State and Oregon both coming in at plus 10,000. Both coming in at plus 10,000. By the way, for everybody that doesn't know, Cash App is running a thing on their phone, or on their Twitter account. If you follow them on Twitter and you retweet their tweet from yesterday, I don't know if they're still running it, but if you retweet their tweet from yesterday with the hashtag Cash App Bitcoin, they're sending everybody that does it Bitcoin. They just sent me, a measly $10, but thank you, Cash App, for the lunch. Thank you, Cash App, for the free $10.75, just so you guys know. But Michigan State, Oregon, USC, and by the way, USC at plus 10,000, and then there's UCLA at plus 15,000. When you take a look at these brackets, first of all, Michigan State, let's talk about their bracket. Obviously, they have to get through UCLA in the East, or in their first 4 matchup. Why are they plus 10,000? First of all, they're in the first 4 for a reason. But yeah, no joke. I just got an email, Cash App. I did it yesterday. You see those things. You don't ever expect them to pick you. But yeah, Cash App sent you 0.000175 BTC. $10.70 for hashtag Cash App Bitcoin. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. As far as Michigan State and their opportunities at plus 10,000, I think it has a lot of value. Frozen screen, thank you. I'll get that one fixed. I do believe Michigan State at plus 10,000 has some severe value to it. Assuming they get by UCLA, which is plus 15,000 to win it all, I can see Michigan State being live against Texas. I can see Michigan State being live against either UConn or Alabama to advance to the Elite Eight. against more than likely Michigan, but if somewhere along the lines of the first, the second, or the Sweet 16, Michigan gets trumped, and we see a Michigan State, Florida State, or Michigan State, Georgetown matchup in the Elite Eight, I can see them with severe value at plus 10,000, and the hedging opportunities would be massive to turn a profit. Yeah, William, if they had Winston at point guard, it would definitely help them a lot. Would definitely help them a lot. Lloyd, good morning. James Kyle, you were the GOAT. Thank you. Brent says promo ends 3/18. Oh, okay. You can still do it then. The promo is still going. By all means, go and do it. I mean, I might retweet him again. Maybe they'll pay me twice. Maybe they'll pay me twice. I get tomorrow's breakfast out of them. But again, Michigan State plus 10,000. I really see severe value there. The Oregon Ducks plus 10,000. The Oregon Ducks are going to have to run into Iowa. But let's be honest. I'm not a Ducks fan by any means. Obviously, I'm a USC Trojan fan. I think we're going to see the winner of either USC and Kansas face the winner of Oregon and Iowa. Those winners will meet in the Sweet 16. In my opinion. I think Oregon has a tall task against Iowa. I really do. I think they have a tall task against Iowa, but they somehow always seem to make the Sweet 16. I don't know if I could stomach putting money on Oregon to beat Iowa outright. I just don't know if I would be able to do that. But then again, people are saying VCU is going to beat Oregon anyways. Edward has Oregon versus USC in the Sweet 16. But if that was to happen, Oregon at plus 10,000, I think is valid. Joseph says, I think if your Trojans can start knocking down free throws, they can make a run to the Elite Eight. I do agree. I do agree. I do believe the Trojans will be live. Trojans, Kansas. Obviously, I have futures bets on Kansas already. Nathan, I do agree. Oregon gets by VCU. You have to remember, Oregon is much like when it comes to coaching style throughout the entire year. I've preached this a long time. What happens with Oregon in the beginning of the season, the beginning of conference play, has no bearing on the tournament. So take that with a grain of salt. Take their record. Take how they played. Oregon focuses on the tournament all year long. Coaching strategy, much like Kansas, North Carolina. Well, the Dukes, but Duke didn't make it in. He finally started focusing a little too fucking late. Because remember, that pansy didn't even want to play. But yes, if the Trojans can hit free throws, they're going to be a team to watch out for. But I think there might be maybe small little love for Oregon at plus 10,000. USC at plus 10,000. Here's the thing. In my opinion, coming out of just the bottom half of the West, there's 4 teams that can make a huge run. USC, Kansas, Oregon, Iowa. It's 4 teams out of the bottom half of the West that will more than likely face either Virginia, Creighton, or Gonzaga, in my opinion. So USC at plus 10,000. I see value. Now, UCLA at plus 15,000? No. Taking a look at some of these other conferences, Georgia Tech plus 10,000, Syracuse plus 15,000, Georgetown plus 15,000. Taking a look at Florida. Can Florida make a run out of the South? I think they might get by Virginia Tech. I think Florida would get by Ohio State, in my opinion, to advance to the Sweet 16. I can see Florida making it to the Elite Eight. I can see Florida making it to the Elite Eight at plus 15,000. There may be some severe value there. Any other teams to make a big run? The Colgate's plus 100,000. No. Texas Southern plus $500,000. Texas Southern plus $500,000. $1 pays 5,000. $10 wager on Texas Southern to win it all pays $50,000. $100 on Texas Southern pays $500,000. Don't even waste your money, folks. Odds to win the East: Michigan plus 190, Texas plus 500, Florida State plus 650. Michigan State to win the East plus 2,800. I can see betting Michigan at plus 190 being very valid to win the East. It's their region to lose. But I don't think Michigan plays perfect. I think they're going to struggle in one of these games. Rodrigo, yeah, you still have time, brother. Still have time. Cody, do I think UConn has any value? I think they'll be live against Maryland. I think they should beat, in my opinion, well, maybe not beat, but I think they're going to have a tough game against Alabama. And then from there, I don't think that they would get by Michigan State or Texas. So maybe making it to the Sweet 16. North Ender says, for anybody who is on the March Madness package, the first picks are out. That they are. The first March Madness tournament plays are out. Round of applause to the entire staff for coming together and doing the work. And let me tell you, we have put in a lot of work. A lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of meetings in person, a lot of work for what we're going to be doing for the tournament. And I'll be honest, if you guys send me text messages and for some reason I don't reply, if it's a question that needs to be answered, please send another one. All right? Same thing with emails. We're going to be so swamped looking at, as soon as we're done basically with the live show, we're looking at potential round 2 matchups. You know, once we're done with the round 1 matchups, we're looking at the round 2 matchups. And so forth and so forth. So as far as busy goes, it's absolutely insanely busy. And by the way, for everybody that doesn't know, soccer today. Buy 3 days, get 3 days free. All right? Buy 3 days of soccer, get 3 days free until midnight Pacific time. It'll say 3 days on the website. It'll be 3 days on the website. But if you purchase it, accounting when it's all said and done tonight will double your package, 3 days free. Jeff says I'll be on Oregon, so that way if it's a win-win for me. It's like me. I guess I'll have to take Kansas against USC. If USC advances against Kansas, then I'm golden. But back to the futures wagers. That way we can jump into the actual games for today. Odds to win the West, Gonzaga minus 230. Sorry, can't place it. Virginia, USC, Oregon, Kansas at plus 1,200 definitely would be more in my favor. Jesus, you're very welcome, brother. I bet with the GOAT. Haven't missed any free plays yet. Odds to win the Midwest. The Fighting Illini at plus 130. I'd have to say it's theirs to lose. It is theirs to lose. Plus 130, believe it or not. The fact that you're getting plus money in the Midwest. But keep in mind, the Fighting Illini can get upset. And look at how they've played some of their games. They probably have the easiest chance, but it's theirs to lose. Baylor at plus 140. Nah. Look at Purdue. Bookmakers have at Purdue to win the South region at just plus 750. North Carolina at plus 1,200. North Carolina at plus 1,200. I do believe is very, 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 very valid. All right, so what we're going to do next, we are going to jump into the game day breakdowns. We're going to jump into the game day breakdowns. We're going to try and touch all of these games. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to hit them all six. I'm going to do my best to go fast. Now, we may have plays on the side or the total of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of them, or maybe all 6. But where I can help, I will help. Where I can, I'll let you know we've got a play on the side of this one or the total in this one or whatever the case may be. But first, we're going to take a short little break. That way I can refill the water. And then we'll be right back with these good old game day breakdowns. Because we're going to have a lot of fun today. We got some money to be made, all right? So give me just a few. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. And you guys best start smashing that thumbs up button, all right? Be right back in just a few short minutes. And we'll be back in 5. Water break, baby. Water break. Water break time. Water break. We are back. Welcome, everybody, for the last part of the live show. Welcome, everybody. If you're new to Cap Nation Live, we go live 7 days a week. Monday through Friday, we'll be live 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 Pacific, breaking down all of the day's actions for March Madness. Saturdays and Sundays, we'll be live 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 Pacific. Glad to have everybody back after a short few-minute break. Where was the question that I saw shortly above? Ernie Torres, Kyle, are you betting anything live or out of the blue right now? And showing your ticket in the live video on Bet Online? Just wondering. Am I betting anything live right now? Well, I don't believe there's anything going on right now. There's no games going at the current moment that I could potentially bet on or live bet on. And I generally only live bet if I am watching a game and paying attention to it. That way I make sure that I'm having the best live wager opportunities. As far as showing tickets and this and that, as of right now, I haven't given out any plays. I haven't given out any plays. Les says smash the like button. Les, did you get your boat out of the shop yet? Nathan says, Kyle, yes, Kyle, show us the ticket. Everybody wants to see that soccer game of the year ticket. That's for sure. Remember, soccer, buy 3 days of soccer. Get 3 days free today and today only. All righty. Hold on one second. Username. And then click the small box with 4 boxes inside it. And then scroll down. Remember, if you're on the soccer game of the year, it is already posted. You need to log into your account if you're using your phone. Make sure you're turning it sideways. Make sure you turn it sideways, scroll down, look for where your username is, just a few down below. Click the small little box with 4 little windows inside it. And then scroll down again. Les, you've been pre-fishing Lake Orville. I love Lake Orville. Love it. I actually cashed a check there in a Bassmaster Invitational back in, was it 2000 or 2001? I got one of the last checks there. A lot of fun. Manuel says we're sweeping today for March Madness. I do agree. It's going to be an amazing day. By the way, Saturday's members-only live show, there will be a members-only live show on Saturday. FC is going to come back and chat with us after he shit the bed this last Saturday. So he's going to come back and chat with all the members on the members-only live show again. By the way, I got him to do it again. So that'll be nice. That'll definitely be nice. All right, so we're going to take a look at the matchups that we get for today. First, just in case we don't have time to do all six, we're going to take a look first at all four. We're going to start right down from the soonest to the last for the actual NCAA tournament games. If I have extra time, I will jump in and do the last two NIT tournament games today as well. J-Rock says FCO's is showing that video of him and Lewis, right? He definitely does. He'll definitely bounce back. He always does. North Ender, is there going to be a 3x3? It's still up, so if you purchase it, you can get it. I don't know if it's coming down anytime soon, but it's still up. It's still up, and absolutely some massive cards coming up. Massive cards in the UFC coming up. I think we all want to see that video. Remember, if you're on my personal plays, they're not out yet. They'll be out after the live show. There's no rush. There's no rush to greatness. Does FC have fights on YouTube? What do you mean? Jesus says, get on that UFC and soccer. All right, so we're going to take a look at all four games today. We're going to start with the Mount St. Mary's and Texas Southern. That's the first one that we're going to start with. Jesus says, Saturday UFC and March Madness starting today. Loving it. Man, it's going to be a good time. Soccer game of the year today. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, popping up the odds for this game. First of all first four matchups today. Andre, do we have anything coming up for members soon? Starting tomorrow. We'll have some stuff. Don't know just yet if it'll be a live show or a video, but there'll be members only stuff coming up. Mount St. Mary's laying 1 currently, minus $1.15. Texas Southern +1, minus 105, which means you can get +1.5. Minus $1.15, they're +105 on the money line. Minus 125 for Mount St. Mary's, over and under 133 in this matchup. Full disclaimer, we do have a play somewhere along the lines on the side of this game, so if you do not get my opinion on the side, I do apologize, but if you want to know it, get on board, and we'll be happy to give you the actual official play. But focusing in on the total for this one, first of all, first half numbers, Texas Southern catching a half a point, Mount St. Mary's laying a half with a total over and under 62 in the first half. Popping up the side-by-side comparison, the matchups, what to expect out of these first four matchups. One of these teams is going to walk away with a victory in the 2021 March Madness, and then they're sadly probably going to go home in the first round. Texas Southern opened up their year going 2-7. 2-7 with a non-rated win and a win over Wyoming and losing to everybody in between. Since then, they made good work out of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, where they went 10-3. They ended the regular season on, a 6-game win streak, winning outright in the Southwest Athletic Conference tournament, beating Alcorn State, Jackson State, and Prairie View A&M. Who hot diggity dog, they beat some big opponents right there. Not taking a look at Mount St. Mary's, 12-10 on the year, and that includes 2 conference tournament wins. They finished up the regular season winning 2 straight games against Fairleigh Dickinson and St. Francis of PA, going 10-10 in the regular season, 9-7 in conference play. Their non-conference games, they went 1-4. They beat Morgan State. They lost to Navy, Maryland, and VCU. So sad, too bad. We've got two shitty teams here. There's going to be one victor that advances, and then there's going to be another one that gets sent packing back to the dorm room. All right? First of all, you know, if you take a look at conference numbers, Mount St. Mary's had the number 1 defense in their conference. Texas Southern had the number 2 offense in their conference. When you're looking at the numbers overall, Mount St. Mary's definitely has an edge when it comes to defense. However, that edge is based on adjusted efficiencies, strength of schedule, strength of opponent's schedule. When you're looking at the numbers on this one, you get Texas Southern. They both shoot very similar, 48.3%. Mount St. Mary's, 48.7%. Both turn over the ball nearly 21% of the time. Both are in the offensive rebounding category, near 32%, 31.9% for Mount St. Mary's, 32.9% for Texas Southern. Both of these teams do things similar on offense. When it comes to knocking down the 3-ball, edge Mount St. Mary's, 33.7% of the time, 27.7% for Texas Southern. When you take a look at converting those 2 balls, something Texas Southern does exceptionally well at 51%, 1.2% above the Division I average of 49.8%. When it comes to Mount St. Mary's, they're converting their 2-point plays, every jump shot, layup, and dunk at a low 47.7%. Both are not the best free throw shooting team. However, they're, within a few percent of the Division I average is 71%. 2-foul participation, it's something that Mount St. Mary's participates in 40% of the time, 14% for Texas Southern. Height advantage, Texas Southern by nearly a full inch here as far as, will be the bigger team. Both go to the bench a decent amount, not as big of a percentage for Mount St. Mary's because they're in the 2-foul participation so much in the first half. That 21% is what they go to the bench by bench personnel. 32.6% minutes, or 32.6% of the minutes will be played by bench personnel for Texas Southern, the deeper of the 2 benches, that is for sure. Texas Southern does not rely on that 3-ball, but as far as the total goes on this one, the total sitting over and under 133 points. That would have been a very low total for any Texas Southern game. As far as Mount St. Mary's goes. Again, we've seen some barn burners against Wagner where they put up 100 points, where they put up 102 points in those games. But then there'll be a game against like Farrell and Dickinson where they put up 147 or 135 in the meeting. St. Francis PA needed an overtime to get to 137. Their 2 tournament games, we saw a total of 122 points scored in the Wagner game. And Bryant, which is generally high-scoring games in the 150s, that game stayed under at a total of 141. What to expect in this matchup here? Mount St. Mary's, their conference best defense, holding teams to 30% three-point shooting. That ain't going to really matter because Texas Southern hitting them at a clip of 27.7% anyways. But as far as this one goes, you got Mount St. Mary's, which is a ridiculously slow playing team. 20.1%, 16.2%, a little bit faster for Texas Southern, 20.1 seconds on average per possession. But as far as the total on this game, the total going up. See if we can find if there's any information yet being released on the money. Let me log into our Stats LLC and see if anything has been released just yet. Even Steven, nope, hold on, wrong one. As far as this one goes, where did it go? There it is. Yeah, even Steven, 50-50 when it comes to the over and the under as of right now. Money coming in on both sides. And believe it or not, as far as the spread goes, more money coming in on Mount St. Mary's plus the 1. Laying the 1, as of right now to the tune of 55-45. So not a big difference there. Money line has more backers back in Texas Southern at 64% to 36%. Give a few percent for room for error there. But as far as the total goes, the action coming in 50-50 right now. Total up to 133. I seen 131.5 a little bit ago. As far as this one goes, I can see this one being a higher scoring game. I can see Texas Southern pushing the limits and making Mount St. Mary's play a faster paced game that they're comfortable with, and then they're used to playing out of the Northeast Conference. We've seen games, most games averaging, anywhere from the 115s to the 120s on average, for games against Mount St. Mary's. But when they play teams that generally score more, like a Fairleigh Dickinson, the totals have crept over 140. So as far as this one goes, the over and under 133. I do lean towards the over. And remember, full disclaimer for the 192 people that are here, when a lean is a lean, it means we're leaning on something. It means I like it. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be throwing my money on and betting on it. But a lean is a lean. If I'm going to be betting it, I'll be full. Give you guys the full disclaimer. Hey, this is a lean, but I'm going to be betting it. I'm going to bet it for 300, which is 10% of what I normally bet. Or I'm going to bet it for 500, which is a sixth of what I normally bet. But as of right now, the total on this one, I do lean towards the over 133, but it's just a lean at this current moment. Now, moving right along, because I want to try and breeze through these games. That way we have a chance to hit the final two games in the NIT as well. Next up on the board, Drake and Wichita State, game 7-13. 7-14 for everybody. This is going to be an interesting game. In my opinion, this is definitely going to be an interesting game. There is a lot of money pouring in on Drake. It's a Drake money fest as of right now. Taking a look and popping up the side-by-side comparison, everybody is rolling with Drake, Drake this, Drake that, Drake this, Drake that. Again, we do have a play. We actually have a premium play on the side of this game. So as far as the side goes, we'll discuss the total. But again, if you want to know what we've got on the side, feel free to jump on board with us. We'll gladly give you what we got as a premium play on the side. Now, taking a look at Drake, what is there to say about the Bulldogs? Hold on one second. Somebody asking a question. Soccer package. No, the year. The soccer package, the year soccer package, does not include the one-off game of the year, just so you guys know. It's always, the one of the years are all, or one of the years, the game of the years are always a special standalone package. Taking a look at the Bulldogs, they finished the regular season going 24-3, losing their last regular season game to Bradley 67-61. What can we say about Drake? They beat Kansas State. They beat South Dakota. Non-conference win over Air Force. Who did they play in non-conference? They played the Air Forces and the South Dakotas and the Chicago States and the North Dakotas. Nebraska of Omaha. They're untested. They're untested. How do you see the March Madness pick, Sergio? You need to go to the March Madness page. If you're using a cell phone, you turn it sideways. From here, the steps are the same if you're using a phone or a computer. Scroll down until you see your username. Either, depending on what platform you're using, cell phone, iPad, or computer, either right next to your username or right below your username is a small little box with 4 windows in it. Click that box that has 4 windows in it and then scroll down. But if you're using a mobile device, you need to turn it sideways. All right? You need to turn it sideways. So again, back to Drake. They've played a bunch of nobodies. Are they going to be able to contain Wichita State, which we know struggles at times? Struggles to shoot the ball, struggles to knock down free throws. Wichita State. Who have they played? Lost by 10 to Missouri. Lost by 3 to Oklahoma State. Beat Tulsa, beat South Florida in overtime, beat Ole Miss. They lost by to Houston, a 2 seed, by 7 on the road. They beat Cincinnati in the regular season, 82-76, and they just lost by 1 in the AAC tournament. They beat Tulane, they beat Temple, they beat UCF, Tulane again, and they beat Houston 68-63. So again, there's a 2 seed they beat. Just pointing that out. As far as shooting goes, offense, defense, what to expect between this Drake and Wichita State matchup. First of all, the percentages on this one, as of right now, 74% of all against the spread backers are backing Drake laying the points. Line on this one has Drake laying 2, Wichita State plus the 2. It was 2.5. They were laying 2.5 and catching 2.5 a couple of hours ago. Money line on Drake, minus 148, plus 128 for Wichita State. Over and under set at 139. That side-by-side comparison between these two teams, let's be honest, Drake's offense is absolutely phenomenal. Knocking down 54.5% shooting compared to Wichita State that knocks down 47.6% on average. Tougher competition definitely goes to Wichita State. Tougher strength of schedule, tougher opponents. Their opponent's strength of schedule, all of that stuff definitely is on Wichita State's side. Drake has had a very easy gimme schedule based on the conference that they play in the Missouri Valley Conference. Very easy conference. I mean, they get the Valpo's, Loyola Chicago, which they split out 1-1 and lost 1-2. You know, Evansville, Bradley's, which they split out their games against Bradley. But Drake is a phenomenal shooting team. 36.6% from three-point range. He'll be up against a Wichita State defense that only gives up 30.8% from three-point range. Drake knocking down 54.4% from two-point range. They're knocking down 71% from the charity stripe. Wichita State, they struggle overall offensively, knocking down 47.6% from the field. They can knock down their three balls 34.5%, 0.7% above the Division I average. They're definitely well below the Division I average by over 5.2%, converting their two-point plays, every jump shot, layup, and dunk. Wichita State knocking down just 44.7%, and they're a 70% free throw shooting team. Yes, thank you, Jeff. 1-2, including conference tournament against Loyola. Yes. As far as two-foul participation, Wichita State don't play that way. They go to the bench 25% of their total minutes played. Very seldom in foul trouble early. Drake goes to the participates in the two-foul participation 17.4% of the time. When it comes to three-point shooting, Drake's excellent, 36.6%. They only rely on it for 27% of the total points being scored on average per game. 35% for Wichita State. So if that Drake defense, which is quality when it comes to defending the three ball in their conference, holding teams to 30.8% shooting, they should definitely be able to slow down Wichita State. Both teams on average 17.5, 17.9 seconds on average per possession. You have to take a look at the defenses. Both of these teams have quality defensive numbers in this situation. When you take a look at Drake games, what do you normally see? We normally see 130, 140, 150. As far as total scores go. Matt, do I know if Danny plays your my plays? I know he doesn't buy them. If he asked them, I'd probably give them to him. But no. I actually haven't talked to Danny in a very, very, very ridiculously long time. Actually, not ridiculously long time. It's probably been... We texted a couple months ago. But I don't talk to him on a daily basis. I used to. When he went down for that giant sports betting ring bust on the East Coast, actually it was nationwide, they had like 2,000 hours of wiretaps of me and him talking games. Just talking games. I got a letter saying that I was picked up on like 2,200 hours or something of his the wiretaps that the feds had on him. But I did nothing. I wasn't participating in anything illegally. So they just have to notify you. But yeah, we used to go over games and all that stuff a lot back in the day. Talk multiple times a day. As far as the total goes, when you take a look at Wichita State games, again, you see a lot in the 120s, 130s. Occasionally, you'll have that monster game that'll hit 150, 160, 143 points in the game against South Florida. You know, a lot of these teams don't know what to expect when it comes to playing each other. As far as the total goes, 139.5. I'm going to be honest. I think the total on this one might be a smidge high. Might be a smidge high on the Drake and Wichita State game. I do lean towards the under 139.5. I do lean towards the under 139.5. As far as free plays go and what we're playing, we may not be playing a lot of games in the first four. We'll have games throughout the first round of the tournament, second round of the tournament. We'll have a lot more. First four, I generally exercise caution. There's usually some crazy matchups. Very hard to break down sometimes. Very hard to find angles. So remember, if you're looking at something and you think it's a trap, it might just be a trap. There's no better time to trust your gut and your instincts than March Madness, let me tell you. Because there's a lot of matchups that will be definitely hard to predict. Definitely be a lot that are hard to predict. All right, so moving on to the third game in the NCAA tournament today, Norfolk State, App State. Nathan says, tomorrow and Saturday is the juicy stuff. I do agree. Tomorrow and Saturday is going to be where it's fun and where it's at. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Tomorrow and Saturday is going to be where it's at. App State, Norfolk State coming up next. App State, Norfolk State coming up next. We're going to try and get through all four of these and then the NIT tournament as well. Let's take a look at App State, guys. First of all, if you're looking for the odds on this one, it's game 7-11 and 7-12. App State coming in lane 3 minus $1.19. Plus 3 is even money. Plus 100, or actually just moved to minus 101, which means you could actually get plus 3.5 for Norfolk State at plus 3.5 is minus $1.11. Over and under on this one, 133. Joe Free says that's why we're going to crush soccer today. No doubt about it, my brother. We're absolutely going to crush the soccer today. Edward, that would definitely be scary. Anytime you get picked up or questioned, I never got questioned. They just sent me a notice letting me know that I was on wiretaps talking to them, but I never got questioned or anything like that because I didn't participate in anything. Not saying that you did, but yeah, that would never good if that knock comes on the door. That comes on the door definitely would not be a good thing. App State, guys. App State on this one, the first half numbers. Norfolk State plus 1.5, App State lane 1.5 with a first half total of 62.5 with the juice at minus 103. They're juicing it at 0.5 point. Take a look at the Mountaineers, guys, out of Boone, North Carolina. Finished the regular season 13-11, 7-8 in conference play. They didn't even go 500 in conference play. They couldn't even go 50-50 in conference play. They lost, get this, 6 of their final 7 regular season games. And they went 7-8 in conference play. And here they are in the big dance, going up against Norfolk State. They had to win 4 straight in the Sun Belt to get here. They beat Little Rock 67-60. They beat Texas State 76-73. They beat Coastal Carolina. By the way, Texas State overtime victory there. They beat Coastal Carolina in overtime 64-63. And they beat Georgia State 80-73 as their luck ran out. Or are they just peaking at the right time? Can they peak a win over Norfolk State? The Spartans from Norfolk, Virginia, where I was stationed at the start of my naval service time, ended the regular season winning 6 out of their last 7 games, with their only loss against Coppin State, who they happened to lose like 3 times to. They beat Morgan State twice, Delaware State, St. Mary's of Maryland, and in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference tournament, they beat North Carolina Central and Morgan State to get into the first 4. You win, you in. Here they are. What to expect in this matchup? Can we expect fireworks, or is it going to be a barn burner? Can App State hold their own, or is Norfolk State going to come in and punish them? App State converts 47.7% from the field, 49.7% for Norfolk. Turnover rates fairly low for both of these offensive programs at 17% on average, which is actually a low number. Top 100 in Division I. Offensive rebounding numbers are fairly decent, 27.8%, giving themselves second chance opportunities and third chance opportunities for App State, 28.9% for Norfolk State. As far as the actual shooting goes, App State definitely struggles, 32.6% shooting from 3, 46.7% shooting from 2-point range, 71.6% conversion of their free throws. Then you've got Norfolk State hitting 49.7% overall. I was reading Edward's story. That's crazy. Norfolk State converts threes at a rate of 37.4%. When it comes to the 2-point plays, riding the suck bus, 46.1%. Both teams on a little, average of faster than average. 17.5 seconds on average for Norfolk State, 18.4. Free throw shooting, Norfolk State as well, 71%. 2-foul participation, null and void on both. Height advantage, about a half inch for Norfolk State. As far as the side on this one goes, we have no play on the side on this one. We do have stuff on the total. But as far as the side goes, I do have to say Sunbelt versus Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. I have to say, playing against Georgia State, South Alabama, Troy is probably tougher on average than having to play the Coppin States, the Delaware States, the Morgan States, in my opinion. But as far as this one goes, I think this is a very, 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 very close game. Very close matchup, in my opinion. If I leaned on anybody, I'd probably lean the dog here. I have this one as a pick'em. So App State at +3, even though they've got it juiced at minus $1.19, that's where my lean is on this one. Folks, that's where my lean is on this one. I can see this one being a very close game, coming down to the buzzer, maybe overtime. Maybe an overtime matchup in this one. Oh, sorry, App State laying 3. Sorry. Norfolk State +3. I think I'm dyslexic here. And you can actually get +3.5 at minus $1.11. I can see this being an extremely close game. If I was going to do anything on the side, I would take the dog, which would get you a +3.5, minus $1.11. On Norfolk State, I lean the dog in this situation, +3.5. I have it as a pick'em. Yes, App State is laying 3. But I do have them as a pick'em. when I broke down this game, as far as the total goes, we've got to play on the total. As far as, I saw a question earlier that I missed. I meant to go back. I don't know where it went, but I swore there was a question about a futures bet just a minute ago. But if I missed it for some reason, feel free to ask it again. If you do ask questions and I miss, feel free to ask again. I don't always see everything that goes on in the live chat. Matter of fact, I miss a lot of what's going on in the live chat. UCLA, Michigan State, the next matchup that we're going to discuss. Breezing right through these. Remember, soccer, buy 3 days, get 3 days free. That is valid until tonight at midnight. And that soccer game of the year, you have 30-something minutes to get on board. All righty. Jeff, safe flight. Safe flight. Text me when you land, brother. Please have a safe flight. And you'll have my plays when you land, sir. You will have my plays when you land. Glad to have you back on board as well as everybody. Mr. Falco, thanks for jumping on board the combo package for yet again another week. Glad to have you on board, my brother. Continue it, and we're going to have another great day today. All right, so UCLA and Michigan State. I will be honest. This is the marquee matchup of the day, in my opinion. Now, I think all the games are going to be great. I think we're blessed to have March Madness this year. If you go back to this time last year, you know, I was at Pirates Cove on the Colorado River with my beautiful wife, my little one, our pups. We were fishing, camping, having fun, wondering what in the world to do. We started doing soccer, and we were hammering the snot out of soccer. This week last year, we did not have what we have. So again, Aaron says UCLA is going to be, we saw LA, bye-bye. This is going to be a good one. This is definitely going to be a good matchup. The Bruins, riding high for much of the season. Non-conference victories over San Diego. Big one over Marquette by 9. Conference play, they ended up the regular season 13-6 on a 3-game skid to end the regular season. They lost to Colorado, Oregon, and USC. All 3 March Madness teams. The Pac-12 with 4 in the big dance. 4 in the big dance. UCLA trying to make it to the first round. Make it 4 in the first round. They got busted in round 1 of the Pac-12 championship by the Beavs. The Oregon State Beavers sent them packing 83-79 in overtime after being down massively in that game at one point. 36-24 first half in that game, and the old Beavs did the job. Ron P., how do I feel about Georgetown winning the East region? Please rewind about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We went over futures. We went over every bracket opportunity as well as futures. UCLA has been riding the suck bus the last 4 games, including the Pac-12 conference tournament game against the old Beavs. And we're going to continue to call them the Beavs because they're headed home. Michigan State, the Spartans, finished the regular season 15-11, winning their final game of the season against Michigan. Keep in mind, they beat Michigan, they beat Illinois. There's 2 1 seeds that they've already beaten. Can they get by? Can they get by? The Big Ten Conference Tournament. They got busted by Maryland, played like complete dog shit, and lost 68-57. The side-by-side matchup, there is no denying the offensive capability of UCLA when they actually protect the basketball. You know, Aaron, on this March Madness anniversary, aka soccer anniversary, you know, BetOnline stopped giving us Belarus and Nicaraguan soccer because we just made too much damn money on it. We gave them a lot of action and we took a lot. As far as the line on this game 7-17 and 7-18, the last game on the board in college basketball and for the NCAA tournament. UCLA +2, Michigan State laying 2, -135 on the money line. +115 for UCLA with an over and under 134. As far as the first half numbers go, Michigan State laying 1, UCLA +1, over and under 62.5. Side-by-side comparison, UCLA's offense, when they are on, is fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, top-notch. However, they struggle to protect the ball. In conference play, they were turning the ball over, especially late. A lot of turnovers. Michigan State's offense, no slouch either. Their numbers may be a little lower, but when you're playing the likes of Ohio State, Purdue, Illinois, Michigan, Maryland, any Big Ten conference team, your numbers are generally lower than other lower level conference game or conference teams that you might play. It's just what happens. As far as the side-by-side comparison, you got to take these matchups with a grain of salt. To be honest, I think Michigan State has a tougher schedule. Their record shows that. The teams that they've played shows that. The Big Ten and how many teams they have in the Big Dance shows that. Granted, the Pac-12 has, 5 teams? If you count the Beavs, but they shouldn't even be in. 6? Actually, 6 teams, is it? I don't know. 5, 6 teams. I had to double check. But either way, Michigan State has had the tougher schedule. So take their numbers with a grain of salt. You have to factor all of that into their equation. You have to look at people's schedules and their strength of schedules and their opponent's strength of schedules to really get a good gauge of these early matchups. Now, maybe later on, round 2s, round 3s, we might have seen some teams that have already played each other so far this year or within recent time. UCLA hits 52% from the field when they want to. 47.9% for Michigan State. Michigan State's offensive rebounding right on par with UCLA, 30.4 and 30.8%. UCLA knocks down threes at a rate of 36.7%. Michigan State has struggled at times at 32%, 30% in conference play. UCLA knocks down 50.6% of all their two-point plays. Every jump shot, layup, dunk, 47.8% all year long for Michigan State. Les, that's what I thought. 5. USC, Oregon, UCLA, Colorado, and the Beavs. Nathan says UCLA takes home the participation trophy. Round of applause. Send them home. Make sure you social distance on your way out the door. When it comes to free throw shooting, both shooting exactly identical percentages all season long, 72.1%. Two-foul participation, nearly identical. Both teams don't participate. UCLA at 6.8%. Mick Cronin is not a part, a fan of participating in the two-foul participation. Tom Izzo, no different, 7.4%. Height advantage, almost a full inch for Michigan State, will definitely be the bigger team. Experience level, Michigan State. Michigan State will go to the bench for 38.8% of the total minutes played compared to the 29.7% of UCLA. Point distributions, nearly identical numbers all the way down. 27% for both, and the three-point range for 27% of the total points being scored by 3-point range. 54% by both teams for 2-point range. And that 18%, 19% free throws by both teams. Penny, am I going to Vegas this weekend? No. There's with the first round and the second round, I have so much to do. Members-only live shows, the regular live shows, so much stuff to do here in the office, as well as with the guys breaking down the games and doing all that stuff. It would be physically impossible for me to put 110% of my effort into handicapping games if I was to run up to Vegas. My effort is to try and make us money, especially you, while you guys are there. You, Jeff, everybody that's going to be there. My focal point is to make sure that we have the best damn March Madness that we've ever had and set some records. As far as this game goes, focusing in on the total. The total 134. When you factor in the defenses, now Michigan State has a quality defense, holding teams to 47.8% shooting, holding teams to 31.5% shooting from three-point range, 48.2% shooting of all their two-point plays. I can see this one. If you take a look at some past matchups of Michigan State, some of their games like Indiana, not the Iowas and the Illinois, factor those ones out of it. Now, if they come out and they shoot like they did against Rutgers where they lost 67-37, then it definitely stays under. But as far as this one goes, I do lean towards the over in this one. I think if UCLA comes out, and let me tell you, UCLA's their own killer by not protecting that basketball, taking poor shots, rushing it. If they continue to do that, and they're not a fast-paced team, 18 seconds on average per possession. Michigan State is nearly a second and a half faster. But as far as UCLA go, when they try and rush the ball and take shitty shots, they absolutely suck. And we see it time and time again. So as far as this one goes, I think UCLA comes to play. I think Mick Cronin gets his kids to protect that basketball. Don't turn it over. Don't take shitty shots. And if they give themselves the best opportunity to make buckets, even if they got to slow down a second, I think we see more points in this one. Now, I don't think we see some giant blowout, but I think it'll creep up to that 134, possibly give us the over. So I do lean towards the over 134. However, one thing that we are betting, and by the way, the poll has been spinning this entire time. I'm curious, how noisy is the poll for you guys? Mimon says UCLA under. Well, I lean the over, but again, I'm not betting the over, but I do lean towards it. So I am curious, how noisy has the poll been? But it is that time to put something up on the board. Something good. Something fun that we're going to absolutely hammer and pound. Round of applause because it's coming, folks. Now, I might make some of you happy. I may make some of you sad. But it doesn't really fucking matter. When we put money in your pocket, that's all that matters. All right? Matt, you haven't heard the poll once? You know, it's that nice microphone that I find. I've had this microphone for like 3 years. And it's not a cheap one. I just don't ever plug it in. Finally plugged it in and it canceled out the noise of the poll. How about that one? All right, so I know some of you guys are going to like this one. Some of you may not. But for the most part, you will. Especially when we win. The poll is spinning. And up on the board, Michigan State money line. Michigan State money line. Michigan State money line. Again, remember, I definitely emphasize expressing caution in the first 4 matchups. Leon says, Kyle the Capper getting it done. J-Rock says, just put Michigan State on the board. Cha-ching! Ernesto says, I like to make money as a gambler. I don't have room for sides. I agree. I agree. All right, folks. Quick little gander. I don't have time to do full breakdowns on the other 2, but NC State and Davidson, that matchup. I do have a play on the side. If you want to know, you're going to have to get on board. But as far as the total on that one goes, total on this one, I need to refresh my live odds. That would be like important. Total clicking at 136.5 as of right now. In this matchup, I think we're going to get close to it. I do lean towards the over. In the NC State. The Davidson matchup, I do lean towards the over, which is currently sitting at 136.5. I don't think it goes blowing over, but when I looked at the game and I took it into consideration, I do think it creeps up close to it. Enough to possibly maybe put a small little wager on it. Maybe nothing crazy. Now, the SMU and Boise State game. Don't have a play on. And I think this is a very intriguing matchup between both teams, in the NIT. SMU out of the AAC, Boise State out of the Mountain West. We all know playing the AAC is obviously a lot, I don't want to say tougher, but you do have to play the Cincinnatis and the Houstons and the Memphises, which happens to be the teams that they've lost against. Boise State coming out of the Mountain West. Mountain West is weak in my opinion. I think people will see that when San Diego State eventually gets trumped. But as far as this one goes, I do lean towards the dog here. And SMU plus the 1. I do lean towards SMU plus the 1. As far as the total goes, no opinion on the total. But if I did anything on SMU or on the SMU Boise State game, I think SMU plays in a tougher conference. I think they play tougher opponents on a game basis. Each game on average, I think they play a tougher opponent. How would Boise State fare in the AAC? I think they get their ass kicked. I think they'd be competitive against the Temples and the ECUs. Other than that, the UCFs, the Houstons, the Cincinnatis, the Memphises, the Tulsas, I think would definitely roll all over Boise State. I think it's a tough matchup. But again, this is just a lean. Leans are like, we're leaning on it. Not that you guys can see me leaning here, but we're leaning on it. We're just hanging out leaning on it. Come back to a frozen screen. I think that's good luck. That's why, when they say you're fishing, if you get shit on a bird, it's good luck. Not that I really want to be shit on by a bird, but coming back to a frozen screen is supposed to be good luck. So that's the 6 college basketball games that we have for today, folks. And, man, I am super pumped. Super pumped. If you're not on our March Madness package, the deadline is not today. You can still get on it. However, you may not get the full amount of games. The longer you wait to sign up, the less amount of games that you will have an opportunity to bet on as far as the March Madness package. Soccer, buy 3 days, get 3 days free. You still got a little while to get on board. The soccer game of the year, this is what I will tell you. The cutoff is at 1:50 Eastern time. However, if you see the package still up, you can still purchase it. It may not start at 1:50 Eastern time, may start later, but if it's up, you can purchase it. That's with any of the packages. But as far as everything else goes, soccer, buy 3 days, get 3 days free. Don't miss out on that one. Sam says spinning is winning. No doubt about it. The March Madness package, for everybody that doesn't know, I'll go over that real quick before we get going. It's a minimum of 20 tournament play games. You get a minimum of 20 tournament play games. We guarantee 65% or better, or we will give you a week of premium plays on the house. You might get more than 20 games. You might get the minimum. Don't know until there's matchups and odds and all of that stuff. But we're not done there yet for the March Madness package. You get 3 days of premium plays, or 3 days of my personal plays, or 3 days of the soccer package included. When you sign up, it's going to say March Madness including soccer, March Madness package including premium, or March Madness package including Kyle's personal plays. You get 3 days of that. You also get the NHL season, the entire NHL season until the NHL is done, and you also get a max fight pick included as well for $250 for the March Madness package. So don't miss out. And again, if you're on my personal plays, they're not out yet, okay? Personal plays are not out yet, but they will be out shortly. As far as when, I'd say they'll be out in about an hour. About an hour. I need to update the list and get everybody else that's on it on the list, or that signed up today on the list. And remember, if you're trying to access all the plays, if you have multiple packages, turn your phone sideways, scroll down, look for your username. There's a small little box with 4 windows in it. Click that box. All right, click that box. Gilbert, thanks for jumping on board the March Madness package, including 3 days of my personal plays. Glad to have you on board. Randy, Russell, Jeffrey, 2 Christies, Mr. Brown, Mr. Sanchez, thank you for jumping on board as well. All right, guys and gals, I do have to run. Remember, if you want to know about futures bets, future opportunities, how I bet futures or what I look for, rewind from the beginning. Bracket breakdowns as well. The whole works. The whole works. Super long live show this morning. Thomas, it says 30 on the website. No, that gives you 30 days access to the March Madness package. If you would have bought it when we first released it, it gave you 30 days. But no, it doesn't say 30 days of my personal plays. It gives you access to the March Madness package for 30 days. But you will get 3 days of premium, 3 days of my personal, or 3 days of the soccer. Bradley Johnson, is there a members-only video today? No, not today, but we'll have members-only content starting tomorrow. Look for lots of good stuff starting tomorrow for all our members. Thomas, welcome on board for the March Madness package. Alex, thanks for jumping on board the soccer game of the year as well. Shane says, dang, half my day gone. We're breezing right through it. Breezing right through it. Gary says, the poll sounds like a winner. All right, folks. If you've got the air fryer, if you've got the Cap Nation's Brinks truck, spam the chat on your way out the door. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, you are lacking to the 5 douchebags that gave the thumbs down. We greatly appreciate you being here as well. You help us even with your thumbs down. But if you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up. Help get our video trending in the right direction here on YouTube. We greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. We'll see you guys all live tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, for another great day of breakdowns. My voice is about shot. I need to somehow recover it before the live show tomorrow. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you guys all live tomorrow. Remember, wager responsibly. It's day one, baby. All right, it's day one. We got a long time to go. Good luck, everybody. Have a great day.